So here we go then, the Canadian Grand Prix returns to the Formula One calendar. It's lights out and away we go, and Max Verstappen gets the better start from Fernando Alonso, and Lewis Hamilton away quickly too. And Hamilton already level with Carlos Sainz, but Sainz has the inside line. Alonso stays in second place, then Sainz, then comes Hamilton, Magnussen round the outside of him, Mick Schumacher under pressure already from Esteban Ocon in the other Alpine. George Russell just behind those two. As into the first chicane we go, and Hamilton wheel to wheel there with Kevin Magnussen just getting ahead outside of the chicane.
Magnussen had a tremendous start for Haas there, but all clean then as they head down to turn 6 and 7.
Oh, yeah, Gasly.
I love the engine.
Oh, and if qualifying was bad, this is epically bad. For Sergio Perez, he is out of the race. He's going to find a gap by the grandstand there that the marshals can push that Red Bull into. Virtual safety car.
Ferrari are going to make a stop. Looks like Red Bull are coming out as well. Yeah, Verstappen straight in front of me. So his tyres were going off. Obviously the top right cars there. Lewis Hamilton as well. He's also in, but nothing from George Russell, nothing from the other cars as well. We got some other people. It's a bit too early for some people, Crofty, but if you're in trouble with your tyres, it's worth coming in now.
Hamilton behind Esteban Ocon. The Alpinas look racy, but I tell you what, that Mercedes skipping over the bumps and the bouncing a little bit, almost on a par with Ocon going into that corner. Hamilton will get a decent exit and is racing Ocon now down towards turn 1. These two have collided and tangled together in 2022, but not on this occasion. Lewis Hamilton gets himself past Esteban Ocon, takes the applause of the crowd and is up into 5th place. And now going through the gears with DRS active up to 200 miles an hour, Fernando Alonso is waved goodbye by Max Verstappen. And this is Mick Schumacher. Mechanical problems affecting the Haas.
Died on him, hasn't it?
Sorry, man. You were on it.
This is another virtual safety car, and in comes George Russell.
And obviously it was going to be a safety car of some kind, so that plays nicely into his hands.
As Carlos Sainz makes his pit stop and will come out behind Alonso and almost behind Lewis Hamilton. Well done to the Ferrari crew. That was good work from them. Fernando Alonso hasn't been into the pits yet. These tyres are a lot older than Hamilton's. Hamilton moves out from behind the rear wing of the Alpine and then moves past the Alpine by the time they put the brakes on.
Fernando comes in, hits his mark. It's the hard tyre. So how long does this hard tyre can go? So will it just go to the end from here? Probably. Will it go to the end from the other people who put it on? Even ones at the second safety car? It's probably not. So Alonso going long now on these hard tyres. Good luck to him.
I don't have the grip. I just don't have the grip in exit. It's so bad.
Yeah, I mean, he was 21 kilometers per hour. What's that? 15 miles an hour faster down the straight. But he was so slow off the hairpin, it didn't do him any good.
And he's so slow at the pit stop as well. And when one thing goes wrong, often another and another follows it. And that's about 3 seconds slower in the pit stop than Charles Leclerc would have wanted. And that's going to bring him out into this race, potentially behind Daniel Ricciardo, ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Yeah, he could have been ahead of Ricciardo and Tsunoda, and he now finds himself behind the McLaren. It's a nice straightforward pit stop when the hard tyres are on for Max Verstappen, 2.5 seconds as he comes out into the first corner. Lewis Hamilton's taking the long way round there. This is going to be pretty tight. Verstappen has the outside line though. Hamilton on the inside. Lewis Hamilton ahead of Max Verstappen. That did not put a smile on Max Verstappen's face whatsoever, but an overtake on Lewis Hamilton here would certainly help him as he makes his way down the main straight. Hamilton's not fighting this one. He's not defending it. He knows the Red Bull has got a faster pace. As Hamilton stops at the far end and stops now. Russell goes past him, but of course he's got to take the long way round the first corner and into turn 2, so they'll be a lot closer together by the time Hamilton gets back out onto the track again. So Verstappen pits, Hamilton pits, now Russell pits, which means Carlos Sainz could be the vulnerable one there until he pits himself. As Charles Leclerc has Daniel Ricciardo as the next car he wants to try and overtake, and he's going to try and find somewhere a little more unusual to make that move stick, and he does that make that move stick into turn 8. This was the move on Yuki Tsunoda down towards the first corner. Joe Guanyu is passed by Charles Leclerc on the medium tyre now. And that's why we've got yellow flags, and it is Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri.
Sorry, I'm out.
Now that's surely going to be a virtual safety car or a safety car. Safety car, safety car. And this has absolutely worked in Carlos Sainz's favour, because I think he's coming into the pits. He is coming into the pits. While we see the replay, Tsunoda came into the pits, went straight on as he came out on cold tyres. But Carlos Sainz, who was told his safety car window is opening, has now got to the pit stop at exactly the right time for him, losing less time by making his second pit stop than Max Verstappen did, and having fresher tyres than Verstappen to run to the end of the race. Verstappen might have just taken the lead here, but Sainz should have less of a gap between himself and the Red Bull driver when we go racing once again. And we are now going green. When does Verstappen want to release the rest of the pack? Right out of the final chicane, and Carlos Sainz has gone right with him as well. Verstappen leads them then down towards the first turn. Fernando Alonso right on the heels of his teammate Esteban Ocon as Verstappen leads Sainz, leads Hamilton, then leads Russell, Ocon and Alonso through those first couple of corners. Charles Leclerc right behind Fernando Alonso, then comes Bottas, Vettel and Joe Guanyu. That's the top 10. That is Fernando Alonso getting passed by Charles Leclerc, and that's gone down very well with those that bought a red t-shirt this weekend. This is Esteban Ocon and Charles Leclerc into the hairpin. Neat little move there by Leclerc, who's having a much better end to this race, and he's now up into 5th place. Max Verstappen can just start to relax and to rest a little bit, as for the first time he starts a race in Montreal on pole, and for the first time he sees the checkered flag and will know what it's like to win the Canadian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen comes home in 1st place. Carlos Sainz pushed him all the way and takes a 5th second place in his career, and it's Lewis Hamilton back on the podium once more for Mercedes in 3rd. Max Verstappen back on top of the podium for the first time here, and not for the first time this season. He extends his championship lead. It was another thrilling Canadian Grand Prix and another fine performance and a win for the champion, defending champion, Max Verstappen.